Hey guys, John Marine here with another Semper Sundays. Today talking about First Lieutenant Harvey C. Barnum Jr. This guy at the time was a first lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. He was, at this time, a forward observer for artillery. He was an FO. He was attached to 2-9, which is an infantry unit. The 9th Marines saw a lot of action in Vietnam. These guys got fucking decimated pretty heavily. But this happened in 1965, on the 18th of December, to be specific. Essentially, he was there with them, doing their thing to, if they got into combat and they needed artillery fire, his job was to call it artillery fire in and to give support to the guys on the ground. And so his battalion, entire battalion, was on patrol. I'm not sure really what they were doing, but they were on patrol, and his company in particular was just out of nowhere, suddenly pinned down by a heavy amount of enemy fire, incredibly accurate enemy fire. And due to this, they were separated from the rest of the battalion by a good 500 meters of just open ground that had just fucking insane amounts of fire going across it. Lieutenant Barnum, who ended up getting out as a colonel, I believe, like I said, he was a lieutenant at the time. It said Lieutenant Barnum quickly made a hazardous reconnaissance of the area, seeking targets for his artillery. And so basically he ran around attempting to find the bad guys, looking for them, figure out where they were so that he could call artillery down on top of them. During this search, he ended up finding the company commander for that rifle company, who was mortally wounded, and the radio operator was next to him, dead as well. And completely disregarding his own safety, the amount of fire that was coming in is just insane. He gave aid to the dying commander, and then he removed the radio from the radio operator, who was dead at this point, and then strapped it on himself. And then immediately after that, he assumed control of that rifle company because their officer, which I imagine was a captain, was dead. From there, he immediately moved into the heaviest of the fire because that's where the majority of the Marines were at. And he basically got the guys going. He got them reorganized because they were just, when your commanding officer dies, and fire is just coming from everywhere, and it's tough to know what to do. It really is. Any move you make pretty much will get you killed. And so these guys, while they're returning fire and they're doing their best they could, if you don't have someone that's organizing that and that's directing you what to do, shit can go downhill very, very quickly. And because of this, he went in there and he basically encouraged them. He got them organized, and then he basically field promoted people to those jobs. So say a platoon commander's down, he bumped somebody up to be the platoon commander. And he got those jobs replaced, and then he used the guys, once they were organized, to lead an attack on the enemy positions. And so he led the charge to take out the North Vietnamese that were firing at them. And because of this, it allowed them to put some good covering fire down on the bad guys, which lessened the fire that they were taking. And he then, through all of this, he ended up getting 2 armed helicopters on the radio, and he basically moved in as close and personal as you can get to the bad guys to be able to accurately direct these helicopters into firing and killing the fucking Vietnamese, the Viet Cong. He basically fucking destroyed them with his ability to communicate with the air as well as the guys on the ground, and they successfully counterattacked multiple key enemy positions. And the main reason why he did this is, one, to obviously prevent more casualties, but 2, they needed to get helicopters in to clear out their wounded Marines. And once they did this, once they routed the bad guys and they created an open area, he called in 2 medevac birds, and they landed, and were able to evacuate the wounded Marines. And then once they were gone, He then took the rest of the Marines that weren't hurt, and they went around and finished mopping up the bad guys, and then they helped finally secure the battalion's end objective, whatever it was. Whether it was a hill or what, I'm not sure. But this dude was fucking pure badassery. I mean, the amount of fire that they took, the amount of casualties that they took, chances are they really should have been wiped out. But this dude fucking took charge of Marines that he technically wasn't even in charge of. He was just there to help provide fire, and he stepped up to the plate and got the job done. I mean, this guy is a highly decorated dude. He has the Medal of Honor, obviously, but he also has the Defense Superior Service Medal, which is second to the Medal of Honor. He has the Legion of Merit, which is third, and then he has 2 Bronze Stars with V's, as well as his Purple Heart and some other things. He has a Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal with the V, and the V you get for Valor, which goes on awards that can be awarded for combat and not for combat. It just depends. But if you get it with a V, that means you did something in combat that made you stand out. And this dude's got, what would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6 combat awards. This dude is a beast. Absolute beast. And I think he's still alive, actually. If you look him up, he's an older dude now. But, I believe he's still alive. I think he's 73 right now. So, 73, 74. So, good for him. This dude's he's the man. He's certainly the man. But, yeah. All right, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, comments on this, hit me up. I will see you later. Semper Fi.